Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're going to be making some more of that fire Cuban food. You already know. We're going to be making some Papa Rellenas. That's right. Don't get me started on that whole thing. We'll talk about that a little bit more on, what Cubans used to say back home about that name. But anyways, Papa Rellena, regardless of all that, is a typical dish in Miami. I don't know about Cuba. I'm pretty sure there's a Cuban dish from Cuba. But regardless, I mean, this is something that I grew up eating in Miami, and I grew up eating. You get this at the local bakery. You get this at grandma would make it. It is a very, very simple dish, and basically it was done with leftover picadillo. And what is picadillo? Well, it's that ground beef, sloppy Joe type, loose meat type dish that the Cubans like to eat. I think every culture has a version of that, but basically it's just ground beef with some herbs, spices, yada yada yada. And we're gonna go through that. And a lot of times what would happen is that the leftover picadillo, if there ever was any, was made into Papa Rellenas the next day. Now, today, we're gonna go straight into Papa Rellenas. So we're gonna be making the picadillo from scratch, so you guys can get a look at that and see how that's made. And then we're also gonna be making the Papa Rellenas, from scratch. And then we're just gonna eat that with a nice little salad. That's it. It's 100 degrees out. A nice little Papa Rellena with a nice little, local avocado salad, maybe some leftover black beans from yesterday, and you got a complete meal. All right, so, without further ado, let me roll the intro, and I hope you guys are ready for another show. We're gonna be making some of Grandma's Papa Rellenas. All right.
Bruh.
ready for today's episode. Now, I apologize for being a little late today. I was, besides readjusting my belt there, I was, literally doing research and trying to figure out the best way to, make a better stream. I was thinking about maybe upgrading the GoPro to get a little bit better quality. I need to start working on, just upgrading the quality on what I have already. I was thinking about maybe using my old computer, all this other stuff. But regardless, I sincerely doubt you guys care about any of this. You just want to see me cook, and that's about it, right? So. But anyways, so what we're going to be doing here, we'll talk about that later as the show goes on, all right? We're going to be doing a lot of changes and upgrades, and again, it's just going to be benefiting you, the viewer. So, but I just thought that since, you, the viewer, wants to, enjoys everything here, you guys probably want to know more about everything going on, including the upgrades and all this other stuff. So, all right, let me, let's start over here. Let's get working. All right, so back here, I have some water. Right, I'm gonna start putting that to boil because we're gonna be adding them taters in there. So let's just get that going, so we're not wasting any time. All right, shout out to Lambo, shout out to Hiv Loco, shout out to everybody else out there watching in the nether regions of the internets and all that good stuff. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is just get a bunch of potatoes. We got like four nice big potatoes. We are gonna peel them. All right. Let's see, where's the peel? Hold on. Using it for something else. I don't know if put it back where it belongs. Where is the pea? Oh, I found it. Bruh. Okay. So let's just get these potatoes going real quick. So we're just gonna peel them, throw them in the water, and start getting that rolling. You already know what's up. But anyways, all right. So while I peel the potatoes, I guess. Hey, sorry about that. The internet was bugging out there. Sorry about that. See if we can get back. I think we're back online. Anyways, guys. Yeah, thanks for your patience. Buddy X says, when pot cookies? That's a great question. Well, 420's coming up. I might do something for 420. It's a good thing you brought that up. I was gonna kind of leave it a little secret, a little surprise, but we'll see. We'll probably do something then. Shout out to everybody out there. I know you guys always want me to make pot stuff. The thing is that so I'm glad you kind of brought that up because the thing is that's why I want to be doing more stuff on. Oh, camera fell. That's why I want to be doing more stuff. On whatchamacallit, like on Twitch, because there I can make things like pot cookies, no problem, and other things, no problem. And I don't have to censor anything, whatever. Here, it's like, I mean, just saying the word pot cookies, you putting it in the chat is enough for YouTube to be censoring this and that, and it's just like a whole thing, you know. So YouTube is great, don't get me wrong, I love YouTube, you know, we're going to be using YouTube, you know, we're going to be putting content on YouTube. In fact, tonight, hopefully I shall have the first videos up on the channel, on this channel. Alright, so you'll see what I mean, alright, and we'll go from there. But we're going to be doing all kinds of things. But yeah, I think that going forward, eventually, we're just going to be streaming only on Twitch. Why? Because the thing is that, you know, that's the platform for streaming, you know what I mean? Like, YouTube is just something else. You know, YouTube is great and all, but it's not something that you're going to be watching a live stream on for a very long time, for whatever reason, you know? Not the typical person. On Twitch, it's meant for streaming, and there's all kinds of people that stream. You know, people that, you know, work at a pizza place, you know what I mean? And they're streaming, you know, their pizza empire. Or they're streaming, you know, putting tints on a car, or fixing a car, or working on the garden. And, you know, I want to be able to just stream anytime. So, for example, I can just turn on the streaming and stream, you know, me working on the menu, and you're just chatting there with me while I'm just working on the menu. Or I'm in the garden, working in the garden, and I'll be streaming from the garden. And that's all we're doing. We're just streaming from the garden. Hey, garden time, you know, and we're just hanging out in the garden together. And that's it, you know what I mean? Just things like that, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of people that are kind of starting to do that. So it's still very, all these things are very new, as you know, or everything's new. Even though, you know, we think things like YouTube and the internet and all this shit's old, but it's not, it's new. Everything's new, especially live streaming. So, you know, we're taking it to the next level, and that's it. We're just going to be doing all kinds of things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun and enjoyable. And we'll be talking about anything and everything. And that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to do that. You know, here on the YouTube, for example, I got to keep it to food. I got to keep it to certain things. On Twitch, I can do whatever the hell I want. And so what I'm going to do is basically what a lot of people do is that they stream fucking forever, you know, stream hours on end, 6, 8, 10, whatever hours, you know, doing all kinds of things on Twitch. And then they edit that down, and then those edits, that's what you show up on YouTube, and that's what show up everywhere else. And that's it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big a deal. I mean, you know, anyone that enjoys the live streaming, the switching over to Twitch is like that. It's just YouTube, but with a different name, and you're gonna be, well, you know, it's the same thing, you know what I mean? So it's not really that hard of a change. Now, look, I got this really old tablet that I use for certain things, and I kind of get it, you know what I mean? On that tablet, let me wash these potatoes. But on that tablet, by the way, I'm just rinsing these potatoes. That's it. All right. I'm just rinsing these potatoes. That's it, so I can stick them in the water. But look, right there, you saw how, like, the potatoes fell when something happened. On Twitch, you know, the audience gets to interact more. So, for example, you see I got, like, my hands full of potatoes right now, and my hands are wet and moist, and I'm busy right now. And so right now, as much as I'm like, fuck, I want to, like, push the button and get the clip, and I don't have time, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, but all of a sudden, you, the audience, if you're watching on Twitch, for example, you can clip and make a clip of a funny moment in the show that I didn't even probably know was funny. And you can just click a button, make a clip, and you help everybody out. You know, you help you know, everybody, because now everybody gets to see that clip and see the funny hilarity, and I can go on and on, you know, so it's just more interactivity, and it's just better, you know what I mean? Like, meaning, I don't have to play that much copyrighted music. I can actually play real music. So, for example, you know, during certain moments, you know, like, that we're doing certain things, you know, I get to play whatever music I want, you know what I mean? And which will fit better to the food that I'm making. Because again, like right now, for example, I would love to play like Cuban music, you know what I mean? And have like some sort of Cuban music being played. But I can't, because the copyright monster will just, you know, take my stream down. But if I'm on Twitch, I can play whatever the hell I want. Now, later on, when the stream goes live on Twitch, I mean, after it streams, then what happens is they just mute the parts of the music and that's it. So it's like, even when I want to edit it later, it doesn't matter to me. It's still, you know what I mean? I can still, so, you know, anyway, so. So again, Twitch is still new, you know what I mean? So right now, if you're watching on Twitch and it got disconnected, just refresh the page. Same thing that would happen on YouTube. That's it, just refresh. And Twitch is not optimized for every platform yet, as far as I know. I don't know. I'm still new to Twitch myself, but my God, you know what I mean? Like, it's an improvement. That's all I got to say. You know, at least for the streaming. That's it, only for streaming. Everything else, I mean, I don't know. I can't contest to that yet. By the way, so I'm planning on getting a camera, probably that camera, this one right here, the one you're looking at me at, this one, that one, down there, you see it? That one? No? Okay. So that camera, I want to see if I can maybe put it so it's like this. Let me know, what do you guys think? So, but it's like permanently fixed. Like on here somewhere. There. You know what I mean? I gotta figure that out. So that way, I can show you guys. You know, you can see the cutting board. What do you guys think? Since I got a bunch of people in the audience there. And by the way, I see a lot of people on D Live. And anyway, so. Man, sometimes words are censored. Don't even. Someone typed in. What did they type in the other day? Oh yeah, that they want to smoke turkey, and they censored smoke. Bruh. I'm telling you, bro. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But also, you know, at the end of the day, it's like it's two different algorithms. You know what I mean? You know, one algorithm. You know, for example, Twitch is meant for this kind of programming, you know what I mean? Where, you know, it's just live, you know, we're taking our time, we're hanging out, we're chilling like a villain, doing our thing, yada, yada, yada. YouTube, on the other hand, the algorithm there is made for videos, you know what I mean? That's it, you know what I mean? So more, even though they're trying to do more live, it's still different, you know what I mean? And, you know, they're more for videos. And again, you know, we're gonna have live streams on the YouTube, we're gonna be doing all kinds of shit, but I just feel like, you know, I want to at least start talking to you guys a little bit about what's going on with all that. All right, so what we're doing here, all right, we're gonna get this pan and start getting it ready. All right, we're gonna pop it over here, start making some picadillo. All right, Bayonet says, I'm first generation Cuban. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I'm first generation Cuban, I think, as well. Is that what you mean? First generation Cuban in America? Me too. I'm a first generation Cuban as well. Born in Miami, living in Mexico now because, again, you know, my parents came from communism. I was in the US. I saw what was going on there. I'm like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm here in Mexico, nice and free. Loving it. I'm like McDonald's out here. So, loving it. And so, yeah, you know, whatever. So, that's my story. Born in Jersey. Oh, what's up? What's up? You already know what's up. Yeah, so, yeah, you know, my brother from another mother up there in Union City. Whatever. Picture's very clear and lots of nice views. Oh, thank you very much. I much appreciate that. Yeah, so I put over here, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see here. Let me show you with the GoPro. Look at that. Ta-da! Isn't that awesome? I got myself a little stand for so I can see what you guys are saying. Now we can talk. Hey! You know what? Let me see if I can. You know what? Let me leave it there. I don't want to be fucking with it now. My parents were born the best. I think as great as it is, it was. So, I mean, no, yeah, I know it looks good, but I mean, you know me. I'm just trying to make things look better, you know what I mean? And again, it's many things to the show, you know what I mean? You'll see what I mean, you'll see, you know. You won't be complaining, I don't think, all right? It's just going to make the show look better. It's only going to enhance everything for everybody. As long as this don't change, it don't matter. All right, let's get to cooking. Let's get to the recipe. We're here talking blah, 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 blah. It's Chatty Cathy over here. Jesus. All right, let's get to work. All right, so the ingredients we're gonna need here are the same ingredients that we used yesterday and that we're gonna be using throughout, which is onion, bell pepper, all right, and basically a green bell pepper, really more than anything else, and garlic, all right, and garlic, all right. So we're gonna be using that to make el sofrito, all right. In fact, since we're talking about the subject of me living in Mexico, let me show you guys real quick. I should be able to show you, I think, right? Yeah, I just realized. How do I? Oh, okay, good. All right, boom. Smart. All right, check this out. All right, you see all that top left over there, or on top of my head? All right, so I bought, and by the way, we're gonna be using a lot of this stuff throughout the week. All right, but just so you can see the bounty, okay? I bought this a few blocks from my house, okay? I bought this from basically my neighbor that sells fruits and vegetables. Okay, so as you guys can see there, sorry, as you guys can see there, we got 3 oignon, okay, 3 oignon. We got 3 limes, which are very expensive right now for, just because season. Okay, 2 potatoes, all right, we got 2 green plantains, 2 bananas, 3 ripe plantains, which are the preferable ones, not the green ones. We got an actual bell pepper. This is what they look like, all right? So this is the bell pepper that comes from the genetically modified what have you, and then this is the actual one from a tree. What a difference, right? All right. So we got that. Okay, so we got all that, all right, and a tomato. 1 tomato and a local avocado. Look at that, local avocado. Look at that, okay? So all of that, all right, guys, all of that. How much you think all of that was in Mexico? All that's fresh. All that is, basically, from local purveyors, local growers, not like factory farms or anything like that. It was a total of how much? How much you think, guys? How much? I'm gonna wash these, okay? I'm gonna have both of these, right? So I'm gonna wash these. Wait, do I need? What am I making today? All right, I'm gonna save this guy for tomorrow for the chicken. But anyway, this is a sweet, little sweet bell pepper there. Isn't that awesome? All right, and I'm gonna save, some of this. Fuck, I didn't wash it. Got so excited. Just do a quick wash. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to wash these that much because these came from a package, actually, so they're like pre-washed type shit, but still, I still wash. Anyways, anybody yet? Anybody? That's right, you guys got it. Yeah, Vivi and Danielle, you both got it. Basically, $6 US. Isn't that crazy? $6 US for all of that, all right? And by the way, inflation. Yes, that is the inflation price. Normally all of that would have been half the price. Like 100% half the price. I know it. So how about that? You know what I mean? How about them apples? What do you think about those, huh? So $6 for all of that, and that's the inflationary price. All right, and we're gonna also do the beef. All right, I'm gonna show you the beef in a second. Okay. In fact, let me get the beef going. All right. Let's go back here. Oh, wrong camera. Okay, I meant to. Oh yeah. By the way, don't forget. If you haven't already, I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm all over the internet. All right. I'm gonna be putting all the pictures that Christian takes up there. All the finished products up there. All the little, things like remember this? Okay, a plate for flour. All right. All right, a plate for the eggs, and then a plate for. Look at that! This thing just broke. What the hell was that? Look at this. Hey, it was caught live on camera. I didn't do anything. Mira, you can watch the live stream again. And I just grabbed it and. Mozota! Hey, opa! Hey! I don't know, maybe. I don't know what happened. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, God! So anyways, you can catch all that there, okay? So in case you guys are interested, it's there for your viewing pleasure. All right, so let's go on ahead and get the fire started back here. All right, on the meat. All right, I mean on the. All right, and then we got this ground beef, all right, 90-20 or 90-10, 95-5 or some shit like that. I think it's 90-10. I don't know what it is. Very little fat, all right. And that's over a pound of meat, okay? It was over a pound because I was like, I wanted some extra, you know? Because when I was doing the menu, I was gonna do something else anyways, but I wanted some extra. It's fine. I'm gonna eat it. Not a big deal. Gizmo can help. But anyways, so the ground beef that we're making, it's just over a pound, okay? Over a pound of meat. How much you think over a pound of 90-10 meat is, okay? How much you think that is? All right? Yeah, and so like I was saying, when we're doing, if we're watching, if you guys are watching this with me, all right, so I'm gonna save these, all right, and I'm gonna save that green pepper, all right, I'm gonna wash them too, but I'm gonna save these pieces and save this green pepper for tomorrow. We're gonna need this tomorrow, so. Yeah, I miscalculated there. I should have bought another one, but that's okay. No big deal. But anyways, over a pound of meat was of 90-10 was again $6 as well. $6. All right. So those are the prices on that. So in case anyone is curious, I don't know what the prices are anywhere else. Yeah, I always got to break something on the show. I'm always breaking something, that's for sure. Breaking these balls. Breaking the balls. Same price in Germany, is that what you said? Oh, wow. Wow. That's good. That's cheap. That is very cheap. You said yesterday you were going to cook with harina. Oh, that's going to be on Thursday. I'm going to make that on Thursday. I need the recipe. My mom made it with raisins and sticks. Hope you know. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm not making it that way at all. I'm making it actually savory. All right, I'm making it savory. It's funny because when I was a kid, I was not a fan of harina. But now as an adult, I'm still having. In fact, I don't remember the last time I had it. To tell you the truth. But anyways, it's something I'm kind of craving for some odd reason. So I'm gonna make it. And I thought that was a pretty obscure Cuban recipe, so I was like, all right, let's go with that, right? What do you think? So, but anyway, so we're gonna make harina now. The way my dad used to eat harina was with black beans. Black beans, yeah. He used to get like black beans and throw it over the top and make it savory. Just basically with salt, just savory, just very savory. It's already sweet enough, I guess. Now the sweet version. I've heard of it. I've had it. I've tasted it for sure. But not necessarily my favorite per se. I don't know. I should try it maybe. But at the end of the day, I'm making a savory version. And so when I was looking online, other like typical Cubans, Cuban old ladies, making harina. Some of them were making tamal en cazuela. I'm sure you've heard of tamal en cazuela, which is a very similar thing, and that with pork and stuff like that. And I'm like, I gotta make tamal en cazuela in the future. I remember I liked that one when because my mom used to like both as well, but tamal en cazuela was really good. And basically, a tamal en cazuela is just basically getting some pork and making it with, I guess, a similar red sauce, sofrito, whatever. And then that pork and that sauce would go into the harina, and I guess thicken it up or some shit like that, and then that would be a tamal en cazuela. So we're gonna be doing that in the future, not this week, but we're gonna be making that eventually, because that looked good as well. But by the time I saw that, I was already, fuck it. So what we're actually going to do is masitas de puerco. So we're just going to make basic masitas de puerco with the harina, some black beans on top of the harina, and probably some tostones, maybe some mojo. I don't know. Let's see how. I think tostones, I got some green plantain. So we're going to do some tostones, some mojito. Mojito for everybody. All right, so here, it's very hot. My dumb ass forgot about it since I was just here cutting the whatever. So there's not too much fat in this, right? So we're actually just gonna, dump it in here. I know it's gonna stick immediately, but that's okay because it's gonna release liquids and water and all that. In fact, let me just go on ahead and get, this camera. We'll put this up there. You guys don't need to see me chopping or whatever. I'm sure you guys are fine there. But I do want to get me another GoPro, honestly, because, and maybe fix this lighting thing, because I feel like I gotta cover it, so that way this camera doesn't really capture the light. I feel like the light makes this image worse, even though it makes that image, aka this image, better. The thing is that even though normally my other content, I really didn't care too much about how things looked so much, I kind of do here. It's food. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very important. So at least make it look as good as possible. You know what I mean? That's all. You know what I mean? It's just I don't want to put all this hard work into cooking something so I can look like shit. You know what I mean? So that's all. You know what I mean? Jesus. So that's kind of it, really. More for me than anything else. All right, so this is screaming hot. This is most likely going to stick as soon as I put it on there. So I'm going to add a little bit. Let me just add a little bit of oil at this point. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyways, the reason also for the GoPro is because the camera, look, that camera you're looking at me there, and the other camera, and any other fancy camera cannot go here. Remember, this is very hot right now, and I gotta have that GoPro there, as you can see, suspended in thin air. All right, because right now, it's hot. Remember, I got this boiling water right here. All right, you guys can see it. You guys see my you see how close it is. So, by the way, you saw that olive oil didn't do jack shit. But that's okay. This remember, this meat doesn't have that much fat. All right. So with that being said, let's hurry up with these over here. Okay. So we got the onion nice and chopped. Now we're just gonna chop up these red pepper. Now, traditionally, it's a green pepper, but that's what I had at the store, so I got a red pepper, all right? So deal with it. Red pepper is also good because it kind of pops, pop, out with, with the brown meat, the red pops up. But, so does the green. And again, the green would be the more traditional. The red would be more like the fancy one, All right, so we got that. As you guys can see, the noise, always, remember, cooking is your 5 senses. 5 senses. All right, so here, you remember, as soon as we put it in there, it was loud as hell. It's like, shh. And now it's like, and why? Because, again, Can you? By the way, so I gotta get like voice commands so I can just zoom in, so I don't gotta do this with the mouse. So can you zoom in there, Johnny? Thanks. All right, thanks, Johnny. All right, so as you guys can see now, look at that. It's not stuck because the liquid, again, there's no fat. You know, there's really no fat. So the liquid from the meat itself is, you know, starting to evaporate and do its thing and causing it not to stick. Now, if I leave it there long enough, it's going to stick. Now, this is good because I don't got to drain it like I would normally drain beef. You know, because normally when you get like 75, 25, 80, 20, there's a lot of fat and other shit in there. Anyways, and so with that being said, you would want to, you know, do the usual, cook it down, drain the liquid, all that shit. But here, you know, we're pretty good. We don't gotta worry. So with that being said, you know, we can just go on ahead and just dump these bad boys in there. All right, look at that. Beautiful thing. All right, and we're just gonna leave this on top for a minute while we get that garlic going. All right. Shout out to all of you. But yeah, you know, this whole cooking thing, you know, this is where my heart's at. And, you know, even look, the podcast, you know, we've been, you know, I guess between you and me out there, you know, even the whole podcast thing, you know, me and Hanson, you know, my partner, my really good friend, you know, even we had a heart to heart talk, and we're like, all right, you know, I just started doing the cooking thing again. This thing is getting more growth in like a month than the podcast has received all year. You know, I think we gotta, you know, cut our losses here. You know what I mean? And shit like that. So with that being said, you know, if you know anything about him, he's very busy as well. He does real estate. He does a bunch of shit. And so, you know, I'm doing this, and I just want to keep doing this and really keep, you know, doubling down. The more I do it, the more enjoyment I get. So with that said, you know, I'm simply, you know, we're leaving that behind. You know, I don't know how many more episodes we got left on the podcast, but just a few. But we're going to be doing this. And if later on I do a podcast or I do any kind of thing like that, it's just going to be me. It's just going to be me. And we're going to be talking about food, and we're going to be talking about whatever, you know, other things. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know what I mean? Expect a lot of awesome changes coming. And that's it. You know, and again, the podcast is super fun and all that great stuff, but you know, you gotta be realistic. You know, we've been doing that for a long time, and it served its purpose, and you know, ran its course, and that's it. Oh, shout out to Daniel out there. Shout out to everybody. Sorry if I missed you. We got Chris. Heyo. Chris is on her way home from Ed Central. So again, today's meal is a fairly simple meal, as you guys have seen. All week has been fairly simple. Next week, by the way, we're going to be doing 5 shows. That's right, you heard me. We got 5 shows coming up, Monday through Friday next week. Only next week, though. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Well, because we're going to be doing our regular Monday through Thursday. But on Saturday, I have a party I'm going to, you know, just a pool party with friends and family and stuff, you know, so I'm going to be making some potato salad, some macaroni salad, all that. So I was like, you know what? Why not stream it? So we're going to be streaming. I'm going to be making, potato salad and macaroni salad, you know, for the party. And we'll see what else we make. But that's going to be next Friday, not this Friday, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? Now we got way more time to dedicate to things like this. You know, so, you know, again, for all of you guys that are fans of the cooking, welcome. It's going to be, you know, an awesome ride. And anybody else that's a fan of anything else, I mean, you know, again, you know, you'll still have me. You can ask me anything about Bitcoin, or you can ask me anything about living in Mexico, or you can ask me about, you know, what do I think about the future, or you can ask me about, you know, the Fed, or you can ask me about whatever. Don't matter, you know, we'll talk about it. But, you know, it's mainly going to be food because, you know, that's what people care about. But again, on the live stream, yeah. And so, you know, later on when I'm going to be editing, I'm just basically going to be going through all the video here and just simply picking out the parts, you know, in which, you know, I'm going to say cutting the garlic, cutting the onions, cutting the whatever, and then just putting it all together, making really short videos on how to make picadillo, on how to make black beans, how to make, so that way, you know, if you want to make this recipe later, you don't got to sit there and go through the whole 15 hours of me talking about all this other crap. You can just simply, you know, click on the video, you know, on picadillo, or click on the video on black beans, and in 5 minutes, you'll know how to make the black beans. You know what I mean? And that's it. And if you want the step-by-step, well, you can watch the live stream. All right, let's go back over here. All right, enough chatty Cathy. Let's go back to the... All right. Okay. So we got the beautiful ingredients there. Okay, we got the onion, we got the garlic, and we got the peppers. All right, and this is again a very, 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 very typical sofrito. Sofrito, again, if you know, is like a mirepoix, is like the base, you know, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So that's what we got here. All right, it already smells delicious on its own. All right, but before we mix it together, all right, before we mix it, let's add at least a few ingredients here. Humberto Garcia says, love it. Keep up with the great work. Always makes me hungry. Awesome. Glad you love it, bro. Hells to the yeah. All right, we got the salt. We got the pepper. Now, you know, the pepper isn't really like a traditional, I think, Cuban spice here per se, but you know what? I like it the pepper, you know? I like it the black pepper. Makes it taste good. So we add the pepper, a little more salt. Okay, so we just got salt and pepper in there, nothing else. So now what we're gonna do is mix this up, okay? We're gonna mix that up, then we'll add the other spices, but I wanna at least add the salt and the pepper to get that going. All right? And so right now, you know, the liquid that's being released is from, you know, the peppers and the onions and all that. So now, you know, it's all gonna cook together. It's not, you know, gonna brown per se. We're just gonna cook it, all right? We're gonna cook these, you know, the onions, the peppers and the garlic, you know, make it translucent. It's all gonna cook with the meat. You know, it's a beautiful little party going on in here. But again, we really don't have any spices or anything in there, all right? All we have right now is the basic, you know, the basic onions and peppers and all that. So now we're gonna go on ahead, oh, sorry about that. So now we're gonna go on ahead and add the spice number 1, olive oil. Because again, guys, yes, you know, oil is oil, and it's used for the purposes of, you know, de-sticking, right? Or making sure things don't stick to the pan and all that good stuff. But it's also flavor, you know. I mainly use it for flavor. All right, we're gonna add a few bay leaves. Oh, look at that! We got a three-leaf clover. All right, of bay leaves. Look at that. What a beautiful thing. Add that there. All right. I gotta buy. Well, I think we got. We don't need enough. We don't need any more bay leaves. All right, so we got the bay leaves. All right, we're gonna add some oregano, which I also need to buy more of. All right. Oregano is a main component spice here. All right, oregano. About a tablespoon, you know, give or take, you know, whatever your preference is. But you can go with a tablespoon, all right? I also gotta buy more cumin. Do I, or did I have more cumin? I thought I had more cumin, man. Hold on, I'm looking through my spice rack. Damn, I gotta buy more cumin already. Oh, yeah, I know why. I was like, yeah, what the hell did I use all the cumin? I know where I used all the cumin. I used it while I was making the hummus. Bruh. Alright, cumin also goes in picadillo, so we're gonna use, not a lot. So we're gonna go with a teaspoon. A nice fat teaspoon. Alright, and the reason we add the spices right now, okay? In fact, do I have? Yeah, I need to get it. Okay, hold on. Just want to make sure I don't forget. All right, so the reason we add the spices right now is so that it can, kind of like mix in there, fry a little bit, do its thing, yada yada yada. It's a good time to put it in there. I don't know the exact science behind it. It just works. Yeah. So look at that beautiful thing, easy peasy. Look at that. All right. So we got more ingredients coming up. Let's go get those. So now you're going to listen to the noise. You hear it. You hear how it's starting to get louder and louder. You see the opposite effect. That means that the louder it gets, the less liquid it has in there. All right, and so the less liquid it has, the higher the probability of a burn. All right. Okay. So since now we're already listening and we know that it's making that noise, okay, they're gonna stand over here. All right. So now since we know it's making that noise, we know that we are very close to something getting burnt. So we don't, not close, but close enough. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to add some olives and olive juice to go with it. All right. Here's a typical picadillo. Okay, and then remember some of the brine. We're going to add some of that brine. All right. That's also going to add some salt factor. All right. Okay, look at that. What a beautiful thing. Okay, now we're going to go on ahead. I would prefer the driest white wine you have, but whatever you got is what you got. A quarter cup of wine, add a little quarter cup of wine, all right? You're really supposed to use this thing called vino seco, but we don't have vino seco outside of Miami, so deal with it. So again, just any kind of wine, the drier the better. No, sorry, Vivi. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Okay, so that wine. Okay, let that kind of do its thing. Kind of cook all that. Okay. Let it incorporate, do its thing. Okay. Look at those potatoes back there. What a lovely thing. But you see, it's on high, but still, it's not going full blast. I don't want the potatoes to blow, like get destroyed. I want to keep them whole. Cook. Hey. I wanted to cook nice and slow. Okay? And so, basically, kind of like the last ingredient here that we're going to be adding, all right, is that we're going to add some tomato sauce. All right? If you were in Miami, you'll probably get this in a can. Out here, everything comes in a box. So a little can of tomato sauce. Okay. So about 8 ounces, right? Or something like that. Maybe less, 6 ounces, I don't know. Hello? All right, get a little bit of that water, mix it in there. you know the trick. Okay, and then you just mix it all in there together. Okay. Just mix it together. And that's kind of basically it. You let this cook for a little while. The longer it cooks, the better. Okay, see it's nice and mixed together. And then that's it. You basically just like set it and forget it. The longer this cooks, like I said, the better. And that's it. Okay. Easy peasy. So then that's it. We just basically let it cook, put it on low. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit more liquid, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna add a little bit more liquid. Okay. And that's it, we just gotta let this cook. And it's gonna take a little while, not too long. It's not like it takes forever. The longer it cooks, the better, yeah. But this is not something that's gonna take forever, you know what I mean? In fact, it should not take that long to cook. That's it, we just want it to cook down and get all the flavors melded together. All right, let them, just do their thing, and that's it. Easy peasy. Yeah, next week we're gonna do, because I know I was asked already in the chat, but yeah, so next week, Wednesday, is 420, so we're definitely gonna be doing something. I'm not quite sure what, but we're making something, probably some cookies at least. I'm not quite sure what we can make though. But at least we'll make some cookies. I have a little butter left. We can use it to make some cookies. Alright. Now, today's episode's pretty easy. And, depending on the day, depending on the menu, some days are going to be easier than others. Some days I'm going to be streaming for a long time. Some days I'll just be streaming for a few hours, and so on and so forth. All depends. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sorry about the earlier today, the little hiccup with the streaming there. So let's check on the taters, see if they're done. Alright, they're not done yet. They still got a while to go. Okay, let's move over there so you can see real quick. So as you guys can see there, you know, we got the taters, you know, doing their thing, and we got the meat, okay? The meat is doing its thing. Let's move it a little closer so you guys can see there. So the meat right now is just basically just doing its thing, really. Can't really do much except wait. We're gonna now get the other stuff ready. Oh no. What happened? Man, I'm not a fan of Windows, man. It's like all of a sudden, like midstream, it says, "Oh, you don't need Bluetooth anymore. Let me just turn off the Bluetooth. Let me just get rid of your Bluetooth capabilities midstream, and force you to go into the settings." Go deep into the computer in the middle of the stream so that you can, you know, turn on the Bluetooth again from the beginning or whatever. It's like, what the hell, man? Bruh. Why do you do this to me? Anywho's, all right, so we're gonna now be making a very simple salad, all right? But again, you know, it's kind of early. We're gonna have to wait a second just to get that going. But basically, I'm just gonna. Oh, did the GoPro already die? Yes, it died. Oh wait, I know what I can do. Instead of putting technical difficulties, I can just put bruh. So yeah, we're gonna just start making a very simple salad, all right? No, we got the garbage guys, you know, they're out there. They just made it. But look at this. This is a avocado. Look at this. Isn't that cool? This is a very typical avocado that you would find out here in the tropics. I'm gonna wait for the garbage, right? All right, we are back. Yeah, sorry, I went on ahead and Lambo says I want some Papa Rellenas. I don't know who could have said that. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to go on ahead real quick and just get. I wanted to write down that I needed bay leaves and things like that. All right, let me do some. So let's just go on ahead and do a little mise en place, okay? You know, what does that mean? You know, we're gonna go on ahead and just make this salad, all right? At least get some of the things ready for the salad, all right? Not 100% yet, but all right. So what are we gonna do with this? I think we're gonna dice. Okay, so we're gonna go on ahead and just dice. All right, let me get rid of that. Well, hold on. Let me Missouri. Hey, folks, how's it going, Missouri? All right, and Missouri. Miss Roy? Oh no, Miss Roy. Sorry, Miss Roy. Miss Roy. All right, I can't speak. Okay, let me reconnect the GoPro. Uno segundo, por favor. Yeah, this is a lot more convenient to have the setup over here on the side. Slowly but surely, we're making moves. Okay. Much smoother. But yeah, so the GoPro, it shoots at 720p. I know it's kind of hard. You probably won't even tell the difference, but it would be a lot nicer if I could shoot in 1080p. So I just need to get the, you know, I got the GoPro 7. I gotta get like an 8 or a 9. I'm probably gonna get the 9. Just so I can get that bump. Because that way, all three, because all the other two cameras are 1080. And then I'm gonna see if I can get that camera, this camera, the one down there, that camera, and see if I can just suspend it mid-air here, you know, so I can build like a little contraption to make it easier to do that. So, you know, we're working on a few things here, setting up the kitchen. All right, so what I'm gonna do with tomato, we're just gonna kind of like dice it, you know, that's it. We're not really, all right. Okay, we're just dicing these tomatoes. And this is just for a quick salad, all right? Right, then we can just make the whole salad now. Just get it over with. All right. Let me get the camera and bring this down here. Sup, Adam? Sup, Julio? Sup, Miss Roy? How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're basically chopping up some tomatoes, some cucumber, a little red onion, and then some avocado. Yeah, this is, I don't know if some of you guys have seen it, some of you guys have not. This is the tropical avocado. This is the avocado I grew up with when I was living in Miami. This is the avocado that they have in Cuba, in the tropics, all over the place. The avocado, okay? And then we have the black Hass avocado. That's a completely different avocado. That's the one you guys are more used to. If you're gonna be making guacamole, the black Hass is the better one. But if you want like a firm avocado, like, you know, like firm, you know, then go with one of these. All right. All right. So let's just check on this back here. As you guys can see, we're boiling the potatoes. All right. We're gonna be making some mashed potatoes with that, and then we're gonna make some balls, okay, out of that. We're gonna fill them with meat and fry them up. I know, it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna be amazing. And but we're cooking the meat back here, and for all you new viewers out there, the meat that we made is called picadillo, and basically all it is a mix a sofrito, you know what I mean? A mirepoix, a Cuban mirepoix, which is onions, garlic, red pepper. You know, in this case, we usually use green pepper, but we had red, that's all we had. We mixed that together with a little olive oil. We mixed the meat in there. We had some olives. We had some tomato sauce. We had a few other things, oregano, bay leaves, cumin, whatever. And that's it. We just kind of like let it cook and do its thing, and that's it. We got some Cuban sloppy joes or loose meat, and that's it. It's easy, easy peasy. Avocado is very expensive in your country. Oh, yeah, not expensive here at all. Not expensive. So, yes, exactly. One second. Hold on. I got that. Be right back. All right. So, since we still have to wait on the potatoes, let's check on those. Okay, the potatoes are almost done. A little bit longer, but they're almost done. All right. I said, let me just make the salad. You know what I mean? So let's just go on ahead and make this salad. So what we're gonna do here is actually we're gonna go on ahead and just add everything to the bowl. All right, right off the bat. All right. I was gonna just make something else here, but probably better to just mix it all together and then we can go from there. All right, so we dice some tomatoes. All right, so let's just go on ahead and add these tomatoes in there. I want the juice and everything. This is why I'm doing it like this. The juice is, you know, like flavor. And again, out here especially, man, especially out here, you know, the tomatoes out here, they actually have a flavor. Everything has flavor. You know what I mean? As opposed to like in the U.S. where nothing has flavor anymore. All right, anyways, but here, thank God, things still have flavor. So here, we're going to do the same thing. In order to just make everything easier, we're going to now chop up these cucumbers, all right? We're going to dice them, all right? It's going to be a lot easier, you know, to work with, all right, as we go forward. All right, so we're just gonna dice these. All right, you guys can see it there. All right, yes. But yeah, this camera right there, I'm thinking about suspending it up here, and so we can get a better view of what I'm doing. Okay, so we're just dicing it. Okay, yeah, all the seeds, all that's good. Don't worry about it. Okay. So again, this is all to preference. If you want to de-seed it, you can de-seed it. You know, it's up to you. I like it. Okay. Okay, look at that. All right, we got the tomatoes. Alright. Now we're going to get some onion. Not all of it, just some onion. Okay, and we're just going to slice this bad boy up, alright? That's it. Eat a garlic piece. No, man, that's nasty. You eat one. No. Actually, when we mix it in the salad, we'll eat it together. How's that? See, eating it raw like this, you know, my sister, she would eat it raw. I remember my sister when we were young, she would just like take a bite out of the onion, like, you are fucking nasty. But she would say it was sweet, so I was like, all right, all right, say so. Also, you know, I only got so much onion to go around. I need it for the recipe, so I can be just taking bites out of my onions, man. All right, so we got the diced cucumber, the diced tomatoes in there. Now we're gonna slice up some onions, all right? Now I think let's go on ahead and slice it this way, so that way they look pretty, you know, just to make it look pretty. See, it look a little different. You see? As opposed to like the regular way you would chop them, which would be the other way. All right. Look at that. Yeah, onions are delicious. So, all right. So I think half an onion is enough. I don't want to add too much onion in there. I don't want to overpower it. You know, just enough. I just want a little onion in there. So we'll save the other half. And now, here, let me wash this real quick. And now we're going to be doing the avocado, all right? All right, and we're going to, again, this is just a simple little salad, right? Simple dimple salad, right? So now we're going to go on ahead, all right? And we're going to add some avocado. So here, let me, so you can see this whole thing, right? So we're going to chop this guy in half, right? I'm going to use half of this guy. Okay, look at that. Isn't that awesome? All right, and now in order to make sure that the avocado, you know, stays good, you leave the seed in there. You keep the seed in there and it doesn't go bad. So, get rid of that. Okay. And we're gonna go on ahead and just, yeah, these avocados are super nice, super ripe. All right, so here, actually what we're gonna do, I just wanna get rid of the skin here. Okay. Go. Boom. Okay. And who knows, we might use the whole avocado. Let me see. I'm gonna use another little piece. Okay. Okay, that's it. Little yummy avocados. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix all this together. All right. We're going to mix all that together, but I'm not going to add any dressing or anything later to it yet. All right, we're going to wait. I don't want it to start like, you know, breaking down. Okay, so here, again, we're just chopping this up into like chunks, all right? Okay, you see it's going to remain chunky. It's as you guys can see, it's a lot more firm, okay, than the typical avocado. All right, you see, it's creamy, it's soft and creamy, but it's firm. It's a lot more firm, okay. And so that's why, like, this avocado is not good for guacamole, but it's amazing for something like this. You know what I mean? So, all right. So what I'm just getting all this ready now. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm just getting all the prep ready. All right. I'm thinking, you know, I think I should just add everything now. Yeah, let me. Alright, so now what we're going to do, okay, so in here so far, we got the avocado, we got the onion, we got the tomato, alright, and we got the, what else we got in there? The cucumber, alright, so now we're going to go on and add some acid, alright, so let's add, and you know, it's a tropical dish, right, so let's add some lime juice in here, alright, so let's take a look over here, look at this. What a beautiful thing this is looking into, turning into. So the picadillo, you know, the ground beef mixture is basically done. We're done here, all right? And the potatoes are also done, all right? I want to make sure they don't get overcooked, all right? So just keep an eye on it real quick as we finish the salad. So this is going to be a very simple dressing, guys. All right, the acid here is the lime juice. All right, we're going to be adding some olive oil. All right, you already know olive oil that we all know and love. All right, and salt and pepper, and that's it. Oh, so yeah, you guys have these in Hawaii as well. That's awesome, super awesome. In fact, wait a second. Let me just add the lime juice in here. Let me just get rid of. Hold on a second. Get rid of this. We're done with the cutting board for now. So again, this is a very, very simple salad. Let me. But anyway, so yeah, I do need to have the camera overhead because look, right now, how are you going to be able to see what I'm doing? You know what I mean? Let's see if we can do this here. Alright, there you go. That works. Okay, so you guys can see it there. But yeah, look at the bright color of that avocado. Okay. Good. Oh, these lime juice. Yeah, so it's like the season. This is not lime season at the moment. Coming out of winter. Alright, so I'm going to turn off the mashed potatoes back there. Alright, so we added some lime juice in there. Now we're going to add the very important salt, the very important pepper, alright, and some olive oil. Look at that. What a magical thing we got there. And then you toss, don't forget, you gotta toss your salad gently. Alright, make sure you toss your salad nice and gently. Alright, especially if you're new to tossing salad out there. Alright, so. But the reason you want to be gentle here is you're trying to, keep the integrity of the soft, tomatoes and avocados and all that stuff. See, if you use like the Haas avocado for something like this, you're basically making guacamole. And that's it. And that's it. See, look at that. Then we just toss your salad a little bit like that. All right. That's it. It's a beautiful thing. All right. And so now we're just gonna go and put this in the fridge, and then once we're ready, we can just eat. Just serve and eat. Look at that. So what a beautiful, beautiful salad. Tell me, man, it's not every channel that's going to show you how to toss your salad the right way, all right? I try to take it to the next level here. When they ask you out there, when you're out there, all right, on the streets, and they ask you, where did you learn how to toss a salad so well? You'd be like, my man Jose. With a straight face. My man Jose. He showed me how to toss a salad the right way. Now you'll be the talk of the town, So I hope you like that salad tossing tutorial there. Okay, so that's it. Ta-da! What a beautiful thing, right? Alrighty, okie dokie, artichoke. Alright, so we got the potatoes done. The ground beef mixture is basically done. We got it on low. It's just kind of simmering away. Most of the sauce. So that's another thing too. For this version of picadillo, a lot of times when you're making picadillo, you kind of want it saucy. You want the picadillo saucy. This is why a lot of times, when you're making la Papa Rellena, which what we're making today, people usually make it with the leftover picadillo from the day before, because it's already cooled down in the fridge, and most of the sauce has already kind of like dried up and stuff like that, and it's just a drier version of the meat mixture, so therefore making it easier for you to work with, so. That's usually why you do that. But here, with the movie magic, since we got movie magic, we don't got to worry about that. Okay, so I mean the beef is basically done. It's not, it's nice and dry-ish. We're letting it dry up a little bit more. Again, just to help with the process here. All right, so let's double check again. All right, right before we drain the potatoes. All right, so I'm sticking my fork in it. All right, I'm gonna stick my fork in it, and then just to make sure it goes all the way through. And once we have achieved penetration, we know that we have achieved doneness, and the potatoes are done. All right, so now what we're going to be doing over here is that we are going to be draining these potatoes, and we're going to mash them. All right, so it's just simple little thing here is fine. And then go right ahead and return them here. All right, so return them here. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring this over here again. But anyways, you see, I really do I need this camera to be here, like that, so you guys can see, right? You guys can see me working. Ow, ow, Ow. Show me that old face. All right. Let me see. All right, so we got those mashed potatoes in there. All right, so now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna mash them some more. Now we're not really gonna add anything to this except salt. All right, we're gonna make sure that the potatoes are salted appropriately. All right. And we're gonna add some butter to this. Okay. But that's it. And then we got some, I saw somebody add this to it. Let me see if we're gonna need it. But basically I saw somebody add cornstarch to this particular mixture, saying that, oh, it helps keep the potatoes together. Now, I think that that's all gonna just depend on the potato. And some potatoes are more starchier than others. And so, for example, look at this one. This one might need it. All right, so that's why I brought it out, because I know the potatoes out here are not exactly the same potatoes we have back home in the US or whatever. So depending on the potatoes are going to be depending on what you're going to need here. All right. But yeah, you know, keeping it simple, guys. I just added a little butter. I'm probably gonna add a little bit more butter. I think I should just add this whole thing of butter, right? Am I right or am I right? But basically what I'm looking for with the mixture is I want to make sure that when I kind of like lump it together, it's not gonna break apart on me. You know what I mean? I want it to, you know, I need it to come together. Come together right now. Over me. All right, so we're gonna make sure. And I think, you know what, we might not need cornstarch. Maybe I'll add a little bit. We'll see. I mean, a little bit more salt. I know I'm gonna need salt, but potatoes need salt. All right, it's like the main ingredient. But again, I'm not adding anything like cream or any kind of milky product. I'm not adding anything like that at all. I'm not gonna be adding anything like that at all, simply because you know, that's gonna make it smooth and you know, to the point where it's not gonna, you know, be able to keep its shape, you know, when I'm, you know, making the balls, you know, once I'm shaping the balls in my hand. So, I don't think this might not need any cornstarch at all, actually. But the butter, on the other hand, the butter is going to help with the flavor. The butter's going to help, you know, smooth it out a little bit, you know, to the point where you got a little bit of consistency, you know, like this. Kind of helps it put together a little bit, you know, without making it softy smooth, you know. I mean, without making it so smooth that it's like, you know, loose, you know. This is still chunky, you know what I'm saying? So you guys can see the mashed potatoes there. So we gotta wait for this to cool down as well. Shouldn't take too long. I don't have a potato masher. I'm the potato masher. But yeah, this is perfect, you know. In fact, I'm not gonna use this at all. Yeah, my grandma never used it. I never really heard of anyone using cornstarch, so You know, but I did bring it out because I do know, you know, sometimes the potatoes, you know, if you want to get a certain consistency, you might need to add something like that. But that's it though. Super simple. Look at that. Okay, 1 second. All right, so we got the mashed potatoes ready. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put it somewhere else to kind of cool down. So I'm gonna just maybe pop it. I'm gonna pop it in here so it can cool down. All right, since this container was hot, so it's gonna, you know, it's gonna take a lot longer to cool down because, you know, it was in a hot pan. So we're gonna put this now here. And again, I don't need it to cool down to the point where it's frozen or anything. You know, just I gotta cool it down. So I'm gonna take it out of here. That's okay because I gotta wash this anyway real quick. Alright. So look at that. Perfect mashed potatoes. With the little, you know, we got little chunks in there just like grandma would have had it, you know? That's it. Alright, so we're just waiting for that to cool down. Alright, so we're going to just set this over here to the corner. Let it cool down. Now we're going to get the picadillo, the ground beef mixture. Alright, same thing. You know, we're going to cool it down now, so we're turning this off. Alright. Alright, let's go to the big camera over there real quick for a minute so you can see. We got to go to the helicopter cam.
Helicopter, helicopter.
Right. So we're going to throw this out. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So, you know, we're turning everything off, all right? So everything's in off mode right now. Okay. I'm going to go on ahead and take this. All right, we're going to bring it back over this way. All right. That. What a beautiful thing. Look at that. So again, you know, we put it here so it can cool down. Shouldn't take too long. Give us enough time to get everything else ready. Okay, here you go. Put it over here. All right, you guys can keep an eye on. All right, you can keep an eye on the mashed potatoes and the beef. This will be the mashed potato beef cam. All right, in the meantime, you know, we got to get everything. We got to get all the other stuff ready, so let me just do the dishes for a minute. It's only going to take 2 seconds. And I need to get this ready because we're gonna be frying the potatoes in this pot. So we're gonna get that kind of ready real quick. It's gonna take a second. Shout out to all of you. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Having fun out there with me. Hope you guys are enjoying your Tuesday. So have any one of you guys out there ever had Papa Rellenas? Have you guys ever eaten that before? Alright, Jaloof, what's up, brother? Ooh, fried potato, I like those, yes. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't love fried potatoes? Okay, so we got that going. Alright, so what we're going to start doing now over here is start getting our breading station. Remember last time we did something like that? We broke some plates, remember? In case you don't remember, I can show you again. Last time we did some breading, I think. This is hold on, this is what happened. Wait, wrong one. So we will have a plate for flour, alright? Alright, a plate for the eggs, and then a plate for... Look at that! This thing just broke. What the hell was that? Look at this. Hey, it was caught live on camera. I didn't do anything. Mira, you can watch the live stream again. I know I just grabbed it and... Mazota! Hey, opa! Hey! Alright, famous last words. I just grabbed it. I don't know what happened. Alright, let's try this again.
No! God! Bruh.
right. So hey, I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. I tell you. It's like, see, she's like, why are you always breaking everything? I wasn't even. Should we want to instant replay? Should we instant replay it? So we will have a plate for flour. All right. All right. A plate.
What's up, everybody?
And then a plate for. Look at that! This thing just broke. What the hell was that? Look at this. Hey, it was caught live on camera. I didn't do anything. You can watch the live stream again. I just grabbed it and. Mozota! Hey, opa! Hey! Alright, enough of that.
Bruh.
So let's just at least get the fry oil ready. Oh, and then the GoPro died. Of course! Well, it's okay. We're gonna... Yeah, alright. Give me time to change everything up real quick. Let this cool down for a minute. Everything needs to cool down. Alright, so we're just gonna go on ahead and add the oil, the fry oil here. Start getting that ready. Man. Alright, I'm gonna go on and break some eggs right here. Alright. I'm gonna get like 3 eggs, that's it. Eggs. We got our eggs over here. We're about to. Give me a second. I'm gonna put get the GoPro back on. You break it, you bite. You bite, you break, you bite. Alright, and so basically once we make the balls, you know, we're just gonna be dipping them in the breadcrumbs, then the egg, then the breadcrumbs, and then you fry them. And that's it. Very simple. I'm gonna start heating up the oil. You break, you bite. Yeah, hold on, let me change the battery on this bad boy. Shout out to everybody out there. Look at this. We're probably gonna be making this tomorrow. Or no, actually, we're gonna be making this hopefully on Thursday. Yuca. We got some yuca. All right. So we'll see. We got some yuca there to make. We're gonna try this again. This last time we made it, but we didn't. It wasn't the yuca wasn't that good. Let's see if this yuca is better. Oh, look at that. Magic. Alright, so, alright, yeah, everything's nice and cooled down, cooling down at least. Getting there. Okay. You can do it. That's right, that's right. This, I don't think I'm gonna need these guys right now. All right, so we got the, whatchamacallit? We got the oil heating up. In the meantime, let's go on ahead and start making some balls.
Bruh.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So again, this should be pretty easy. I think you guys can see from up there. It's so annoying. So yeah, I need to get this overhead. I need to get that camera overhead. This is, it's just annoying. It's just, I just want to show you. I don't want to be, playing camera guy at the same time. All right, so here we go. Step number one, we gotta wash our hands. Let's make sure we got our hands nice and clean. Okay, so you wash your hands. That's step number uno. Okay. Step number dos. All right, you get the mashed potatoes over here. So you go on ahead and get some mashed potatoes. All right, and you put a bunch in your hand here, as you guys can see. All right, this is kind of similar to like the pupusa that we made. Remember? Okay, only a little different. We don't gotta like mash it together or anything. So now, once we got a little pocket there, all right, we go on ahead and add some filling. All right, let's add a few olives in there. Okay, look at that. More filling, nice filling there. All right, let me get a. Yeah, so you got a little bowl. All right, so now we're just gonna go on ahead and make it into a little ball here. All right, we can go on ahead and add a little bit more mashed potatoes here to the top. But yeah, these things are big, okay? These things are supposed to be big like this. Look at that, okay? Okay, awesome. All right. So again, all we're doing here now is just making that ball, making sure there's no like holes or anything like that. Just sealing it. All right, so now, okay, I think what I'm gonna end up doing, hold on, I need to get like a, It's just a bowl of water, all right? The reason I need this bowl of water is, as you saw, I went to go wash my hands, when I got a little bit of that picadillo on it. Right now, I want to make sure I get a little bit of, get it a little wet, okay? This is just now a chef trick here, okay? Because it was a little dry, so now, we make it a little wet. Why? Because we're going to stick it in the breadcrumbs, okay? And so once we stick it in the breadcrumbs, the breadcrumbs really aren't, gonna stick too much to it if it's dry. All right, so you just make it a little damp, wet, just in case it's not. Okay, now we go on ahead. As soon as we do that, okay, we dip it now in the egg. Okay, just dip it in the egg like that, in the egg wash. Okay, and now we're gonna go on ahead and stick it right back into the breadcrumb mixture, okay? I'm doing this with one hand, trying not to make too much of a mess here. But that's it. Look at that. Look at that. That's pretty, Grandma would be proud of that. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go on ahead and make a few more of these guys. All right. I'm sure there's a. But anyways, that's a perfect little Papa Rellenas. So what I'm actually gonna do here is I'm gonna make all of these. Okay, we're gonna go on ahead and make them all. Now we're gonna have a lot of picadillo left over, which is fine, you know what I mean? Because this is my dinner, you know what I mean? The ground beef mixture, I ate a lot. Again, we're gonna do that again. Nope, fill with some more meat mixture. Get a couple olives in there. I like olives. All right, so you see you got a little red. So you see right now you could go on ahead and keep making it, but no, go ahead, dip your hands in the water. Don't worry, it's just water. All right, and then proceed to now close it up and make that ball. Push it in, do whatever you got to do. It doesn't have to be pretty. Remember. Okay. So right here we just kind of pushed in, and we see we have a hole here. We got a hole here. So. Before mashing it all together into some horrible thing, just add a little bit mashed here, okay? You closed up that hole. Oh. Add a little bit more mashed over here. All right, close up that hole. And now, gonna dip your hands in the water. Okay, make it easy on yourself. And now, proceed to make the ball. Okay, see, look at that. I'm sure I was making all that noise out there, but whatever. All right, so I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna make a few of these balls, and then I'm gonna, once I make the balls, then we'll make the breading. We'll bread them all together, okay? So, that way it'll make it a lot easier, so I'm not going back and forth and back and forth. Alright? Oh, I got a little something in my eye there. Alright. So we got one potato, alright, as you guys can see here. Alright? One potato, two potato, three potato, four. Okay? So I think we can probably make, out of all these potatoes here, we could probably make like 4 or 5 potatoes. And these store well, you know what I mean? So basically, you can kind of make it and store it and then fry it to order. So you could do that. Oh, we got a chunk of potato there. Jesus. Fuck.
Bruh.
Hey. Okay. And nice and simple. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it probably would have been easier. I don't know, maybe the mashed potatoes would have been a little bit easier to work with if we added that cornstarch. But I don't know, man. That cornstarch didn't feel right. It's not how grandma would have made it, you know what I mean? So, this is how grandma would make it. I don't know how they make it. I know how they make it in the bakeries. When they make it in the bakeries, very rarely are you gonna get it with the real mashed potatoes. In the bakeries, they'll go on ahead and make it with like the instant mashed potatoes. You know, it's not that good. Okay? It's a million times better when you make these at home. Okay? Look at that, another beautiful ball. Okay. Oh, I don't know if you heard that noise out there. Greg Gesser, hey, what's up, Greg? Shout out to you. Looks good, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, these are yummy, yummy, extra yummy, tasty. And so, I mean, this is something you would find like in a typical bakery. Like, so get this. So, in a lot of places, you know, I remember when I was, it's commonplace now, but I remember when I was a kid, it was still kind of new. They would get, you know, something like this, right? Like a Papa Rellenas, which again, it's instant mashed potatoes. This is not instant mashed potatoes. This is like real mashed potatoes, right? But still, it would be like the instant mashed potato situation, right? Yeah, it seems like the longer it's sitting here, the harder it is to work with. Yeah, jeez, what's making all that noise? Get a muffler, bro. Anyways, but yeah, so you would, for breakfast, you would eat one of these things. And, you know, I remember, you know, you can put this in between bread and make it a sandwich. Now imagine all the carb overload on that one, right? So this is just, again, a potato ball with meat in it. And now, put this in between some Cuban bread. I wonder what's making all that noise up. You know, oh, I forgot. It's like, I think it's one of the mechanics. I completely forgot. It's like, he sounds like he's just revving up the motor or whatever. Okay. Look at that. So we got, so I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think it's going to be 5 balls altogether. Oh, it's a lot of balls. So again, this is the final product, okay? The one that we have over here. I know you can't see it. This one, all right, the one that we breaded. All right, we're just now getting the balls together here. One more ball. And yeah, these are supposed to be this big. They're really that big, you know? It's like a big, hey. Got Gizmo misbehaving over there. Hey, what? I'm barking. I'm doing my job. I'm a dog. That's what I do. I bark at things that I don't like. And sometimes I bark at things I do like. Because I'm a dog. Right, Gizmo? Here, you want a little piece of something, Gizmo? I know you, yeah. Yes. Yes, please. Alright, so You know Gizmo talks? He's our magical talking dog. Alright. So yeah, basically now we're just gonna add, you know, the rest of this leftover mashed potato here. And that's it. Look at that. So we got our 5 balls here. You want a little piece of potato? Like, yes. Gizmo eats anything and everything. Okay, so yeah, you know, we're just now, you know, smoothing out our balls, as you guys can see. Make sure they're nice and smooth. And that's it. So now, okay, what we're gonna do is get the ground beef mixture, put it over here to the side. Get this excess, give it to Gizmo. Here you go. Alright, that's it. Gizmo. Okay, now we're gonna turn on the heat again. Alright. And now we're gonna bread these balls, okay? So we're gonna go on ahead and bread these balls, okay? So remember, we're gonna go this step by step. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna go step by step here, alright? Gonna get the ball, alright? Get a little water on the outside, alright? Make it a little wet, alright? Gonna moisten your balls a little bit. Okay? Just moisten your balls a little bit. And then put them, and then you gotta go on ahead and put them in the, again, gentle, you know? So now you're gonna go on ahead and cover that. Cover your balls in the breadcrumbs. Okay, now you're gonna go on ahead and dip your balls. Okay, you're gonna dip these balls in the egg wash. And then you're gonna come back over here and do the same thing. Okay, we're gonna dip it in the breadcrumb again. Okay? Okay, smooth it out again. And that's it. Simple, simple, simple. Okay? And so when you're making this, again, when you're making these Papa Rellenas, you can make them ahead of time. We're gonna make all these ahead of time and then you can eat them later. Again, when you buy this at the bakery, you know, you can eat this. It's really good having it right out of the fryer. You know, like immediately once you make it and you eat it, super yummy, super tasty. You know, it's really good. It's really good. Obviously, everything that's made fresh, you know, immediately is really good. But really, the way to eat this, the way that people mostly consume these bad boys, is again, they make these in the bakery, you know, early in the morning or at some point during the day in the morning, and then when you're going to the bakery, they've been sitting there for an hour, 5 hours, 6 hours, many hours. It doesn't matter, many hours. But the point is that this is something that you can just kind of, you know, grab and go. You know what I mean? This is like a meal, it's a snack, it's many things. Okay? But as you can see, it's very carb heavy. And, you know, this is like a working man's meal. Honestly. More than anything else. Alright, so what we're going to do now, let me make sure the oil... Okay, the oil, I think the oil's nice and hot already. Let me double check. Let me add a little something in there. Okay. So I'm going to go on ahead and add the first 2 balls in there. Okay? Alright, so you guys can see back there. My hands are dirty, so I can't really... Okay? Alright, so you see, I just did my balls in it! Alright, and then we're going to go on ahead and do the rest. You know, these guys are still a little moist, so I don't have to, you know, dip them in water or anything. You only want to, like, dip it in water, you know, moisten it if it's dry. They're not dry here, so. Okay, we're gonna. Okay. This is very easy, very quick. Okay, then you just shape in your balls again. They don't have to be perfect balls. You know, they could be a little misshapen. It's all about the size of the balls, right? Okay. We're just quickly getting these. I don't want to burn those back there. Alright, so again, last one. All right, let's switch over to the GoPro. Look at that. Perfect. A few more seconds and I want to burn them. Right? All right, let me clean up over here. Just in the nick of time. And so remember, guys, you know, these potatoes are already cooked all the way through. you know, the meat mixture is cooked. Everything is cooked all the way through. Alright. So this one popped open a little bit. It's okay. No big deal. Alright, but look at that. Look at these beautiful things. Alright. We stick one in there. I turned on the heat, it was a little hot. Alright, I'm gonna be a little cleaning up here real quick. Wow. Look here! Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry.
Bruh.
There. Okay, that's looking a lot better. All right. Look at that beautiful thing. I know they crack open a little bit, but whatever, it's fine. I'm not an expert Papa Rellena maker here. See, I think we're just gonna go one at a time and just finish them off one at a time. Déjame eso ahí. Pónmelo en cuál. Yeah, then we gotta have the heat on higher, not that low. Streaming through my office. Or your whole office is seeing what I'm cooking. Shout out to you, thanks for sharing. Man, I think this light is about to die. almost ready. About 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Getting Christian's ready here. She's about to. I just want to finish frying. Oh, cool. How much?
83.
Wow, nice. Nice. All right, so you see what I'm doing here. I'm basting the potato here. So it seems like all the potatoes like break a little bit for some reason. Not quite sure why, but whatever. But you know what? I remember when my grandma would make them, they would break too. I completely forgot about that. But look at that! Look how awesome they look. So we got the prettiest one for the photo op. And so, like I said, typically when you're gonna eat this, you're gonna eat one of these Papa Rellenas, you can eat them with some rice and some beans. You can eat them by itself as a handheld snack. You can eat it, any way you want. Really, as a snack, as a meal, as anything. If you're eating it at home, it's most likely a meal. You'll probably have it with some rice, some beans, a little salad. If you're gonna have it on the go, you're probably just eating it by itself. Some people put ketchup on it. You're gonna have it as a sandwich. Many things. Okay, so. But in this version, we're just making it home style. Okay, so we're making Papa Rellenas home style. Exactly as Grandma would have made it. Okay. All right, and here we go. We got the more finished papas right here. All right. So we got one that kind of like broke. These, they're all right. I think they're all fine. I think there has to be like a trick to cooking these. I think you probably gotta deep fry them. I just realized, I think you gotta, in order for them to really come out awesome, I think you gotta deep fry them, like completely deep fry them. Like, I think that's where they break. I mean? If they're not completely submerged, which you need a lot of oil for, if they're not completely submerged, they're probably gonna break a little bit. But they come, it all comes back together again, I think. Like Humpty Dumpty. Very hot. Okay. Oh yeah, you gotta let these cool down for a minute as well, so. They're almost done. Alright, so now I'm going to take this last one off of the fire here. Look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful thing. Look at these guys, huh? Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to go and crack into one. Alright, Christian's going to eat one. You ready? Ya está la comida. Alright, so I'm going to serve her up a nice little salad, to go along with her Papa Rellena. So, the way we're making it here, the way I'm serving it here, it's not that typical Cuban, but yeah, a Cuban would eat this. Basically would eat a salad similar to this, with very, again, especially, with the avocado and all that stuff. Right? Ahí así o más. More more salad? Or? Well, that's okay for and for the photo op. You can serve yourself more. All right, so now she's gonna take some pictures. She's gonna eat this, try it out, and that's it. We're done. Okay. What happened? You don't want to eat that? You don't like it?
No.
So inside there's meat. You gotta crack it open. Can I open it for you or not yet?
No, yo lo abro.
Okay. So
Bueno,
we're
tú me
gonna.
vas a ayudar luego a abrirla, solo es para...
All right. We're gonna let her take a few pictures. Anyone? Do you guys have any comments? Let me know. You can talk to us, chat with us while she tries everything.
A ver, ahora sí, mientras tú lo abres, le tomo un pequeño video.
Okay. All right, Gizmo, move it. All right, so I'm gonna pop this guy open. Hold on, let me put the hand. I want to get this camera so you guys can see.
Ay, sí, hola a todos. Ni siquiera dije hola, qué horror.
He's like, I didn't even say hi. All right, how do I film it? No, tiene parte del mismo lado de la cámara.
¿Cómo lo vas a abrir? ¿Así? Okay.
Like this.
No
Alright,
sé,
guys.
posicionate para que yo pueda calcular.
All right, ready, guys? Look how soft it is. Look at that. All right. Yummy in the tummy. All right, but now is the moment of truth. We gotta try it out. See how it came out.
A ver, quítalo. Se ve.
Got Gizmo. Hey, Gizmo!
Bueno, ahora sí.
All right.
Se ve muy rico.
Yeah? You like? Yeah?
Mucho.
Yeah, let's scale 1 to 10.
Yes.
All right, yay! You got a 10. All right, so I mean, it was very easy, guys. How long was our stream today? We got 2.5 hours from start to finish. Not bad. Not bad at all.
No, gracias por hacer la ensalada.
No worries, yeah. The salad, look at that. How's the salad? Taste good too? Yeah.
Fresca.
Nice and fresh. We got a nice little fresh salad for 100-degree weather with like 78,000% humidity. Nice little potato.
Empiezas a estar asmático.
We got some meat and potatoes here. And that's it. I mean, simple little meal. And again, this is a very, very simple, typical meal that you would get. The simple, typical meal you would get like in a Cuban household. Like I said, made with leftovers. Basically, this picadillo, we wouldn't make it today. I would make this today for dinner. This is it. Just this with like rice and beans. And then the next day with the leftover, assuming there's leftover, we made la Papa Rellena. And that's it. And then we're gonna just leave these Papa Rellenas to just chill there for a little bit, and we're gonna eat them later, and that's it. So again, like I said, the Papa Rellenas, they're usually fried ahead of time. They're put in the bakery thing, you know what I mean? Like the little holder thing, and you can eat them an hour later. You can eat them fresh. You can eat them 6 hours later. They're still good. And that's it. So guys, you already know what's up. We're gonna bring this show to an end now. I guess you really liked them, man. She's eating right through it. Shit. So I'm gonna go and raid. I'm gonna go raid another channel real quick on Twitch. In the meantime, you know, you're gonna watch her finish eating. I'm gonna go raid some channel, and then we're gonna come back and say our goodbyes to the other channels, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay?
No.
Alright guys, and we are back. Well, at least on the other channels, you know, meaning we're back on, you know, we're still here on YouTube and DLive and Twitter and all this other stuff. But yeah, you know, on Twitch, you know, what usually happens when I go raid, you know, when I'm ending the show, what happens is that all the people that are watching on my channel, basically now, you know, once this show's over, I take that audience over to another channel so they can continue watching, you know, another friend's stream, and vice versa. You know, people raid each other. Sometimes I get raided, you know, when someone else ends their stream and they bring their followers over here, and it's just a whole community thing. And so it's awesome, you know what I mean? It's great, because it's like, you're the algorithm, you know, you get to choose, you know, who you want to have your audience check out next, instead of YouTube's algorithm, you know, recommending something else, you know what I mean? or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, like I said, we're exploring many facets here. I know she's loving it. She hasn't even said a word. She hasn't anything. I guess it came out really good, huh? Like really good. Okay. Yeah. Usually, the better the food comes out, the less likely I have to do the dishes. So hopefully, it came out so good I don't got to do the dishes today. Yeah. Yes. All right. I don't know, it's only a few dishes, no big deal. Anyways, guys, alright, so we're going to be ending it here. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please follow, please hit the bell icon, please share. If you really like the content, share it. Don't forget to check out the Discord, check out don't forget to check out my Instagram over there. Alright, we got the TikTok, you know, we got all that stuff. If you want to share some of your recipes, or you want to, you know, contribute a little bit to the show, meaning, hey, try this recipe out, or hey, look at this, or look what I made, or whatever, you know, again, keeping it in the community, you know, making a community out of all this. You know, check out the Facebook, check out the Discord, all that stuff. And please, share whatever you want inside the Facebook group, you know, for the cooking show, you know, anything cooking related. And, yeah, you know, again, you know, we're having a wonderful, fun-ass time. Like I said, next week, you know, we're going to be doing 5 episodes. I'm going to be making some potato salad, macaroni salad on Friday for a party we're going to on Saturday. And that's it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun, you know. Well, we still got 2 more episodes. Tomorrow we're making some chicken fricassee, Cuban style. Some, you know, pollo fricassee. You know, we're going to make some of that. And we're also going to be making some harina de maíz, you know, with some fried pork on Thursday. Again, super crazy, typical Cuban dishes. You know, instead of making the usual Cuban dishes, I thought, you know, hey, let's bring it up a notch and see what else we can make, like la papa rellena, la harina, and things like that. So, all right, guys, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. You already know the deal. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye. Peace. Oh, David, I see you're asking for a painting. What painting are you talking about? Anyways, not sure what painting you're talking about. Let us know. All right, bye, guys.